Why shouldn't you bring a prostitute to a drug dealer? Or how would Sweet react in the mission Los Sepulcros if we recruit random people from the streets instead of the family's members? In today's episode, I'll show you 7 glitches and fun facts which I discovered by simply playing around and testing various things in GTA San Andreas. Those to do with game mechanics, technical stuff, as well as with various elements of gameplay. Enjoy! For starters, let me explain what I meant by saying that we better not take prostitutes to dealers. See, it turns out that after such an encounter occurs, a lady of the night starts acting very strangely. Sometimes she begins to run in circles for a brief moment, after which she approaches our car and just straight up steals it. In most cases though, she robs us right after buying the drugs. I don't know, perhaps Rockstar wanted to show us that drugs turn people into maniacs or something. The second fun fact is actually a very useful life hack. Did you know that in GTA San Andreas, one can transport land vehicles by air? I mean, excluding the custom helicopter Leviathan, which unfortunately is only available to a player in one and only one mission in the game called Up, Up, and Away. Or alternatively, it can be spawned with an opcode. And that's if someone knows how to modify the main.scm file of GTA San Andreas. It's a helicopter with a magnet to which we can attach any land vehicle and fly it wherever we want. However, there is an alternative which is available to a player even outside a mission. In fact, whenever we like, as long as we finish the flight school, because in order to perform this trick, the plane Beagle is essential. And the only way to acquire it is to steal it from the San Fierro airport. The thing is that the one that spawns there is locked until a player has passed the flight school. So once we get in position of that specific plane, in order to be able to transport cars with it, we'll have to place them directly on its wings. I personally recommend using those high roads that connect different sections of the airport. We simply align our Beagle in such a way that will allow us to easily drive a car on its wing using the high road. Then we simply pick a car which fits on the wings and we get it on the wing. Next, we cautiously take off our plane and the car will stay attached to the wing, as if it were glued. Of course, we need to be careful not to overly rotate the plane, and it's best to use the rudder for steering, rather than banking. This trick works on vehicles that fit on Beagle's wings, including single-track vehicles. Helicopters are an exception though. For example, the Maverick fits well on a Beagle's wing. However, as soon as we leave it, it ceases to detect collision with other air vehicles, which results in it phasing through the plane's wing and falling down. We can even create a situation where a Maverick is literally inside a Beagle. A similar effect can be achieved with any combination of aircraft. In the mission Los Sepulcros, Sweet asks us to recruit 2 homies from the families in order to go with them and him to the cemetery to make a mess of the Ballas funeral. The game points at 2 specific pits, but have you ever tried to recruit just any members, like ones found on the street? See, if we do exactly that, it turns out that the developers designed this mission with impressive attention to detail. Since after we recruit the second random homie, Sweet will say a line of dialogue saying that he meant the 2 specific OGs and not some random dudes. Granted, we will hear that line even while being 50 kilometers away from Sweet.
Tell those guys to beat it. I got 2 OGs in mind.
Whatever you need, CJ.
But I think we can forgive that. It's also worth adding that this is also the case for recruiting just any pedestrian, which is possible thanks to cheats. In order to progress the mission, one simply has to recruit the 2 specific members, at which the game points. In the Johnson's house on the 1st floor, there's a camera, and even after the completion of the mission, tagging up turf, there's also a spray paint pickup, and the next fun fact is that we can actually pick those up without even going upstairs. See, the room set up on both floors allows a certain trick. If we get on this table and jump more or less towards the window next to the door, we'll get into the pickup collection range, and the spray paint will get picked up through the ceiling. Same goes for the camera. If we jump a bit to the right, more or less towards where the stairs be. I'm sure you know that until CJ reaches a high enough level of the flying skill, a player will not be allowed to enter any airport. Upon approaching an airport gate, a text box will appear, and a guard will sometimes shout at us that only qualified people can access. But at the San Fierro airport, an inexplicable glitch occurs. See, even if Carl can't yet fly, the statistic is at a low level, and we punch the airport gate and then immediately turn away, it'll open and we'll be legally led onto the tarmac without using a packer, planes, or other more traditional tricks. Unfortunately, all aircraft at the airport are locked until we actually complete the flight school. This is different from what's the case at LS or LV, where all planes are unlocked from the very beginning of the story. It most likely happens because the San Fierro Airport is the only one, apart from the Verdant Meadows airstrip, which a player visits as a matter of the story before completing the flight school. Such an event takes place during the Mike Torino mission, in which we save the undercover agent from the hands of a rival gang at the airport. The developer simply wanted to ensure that a player cannot legally access aircraft before the flying school. Yet again, in this video, the Maverick is an exception, which we can enter no matter the stage of the story. The same glitch also occurs at the other gate to the airport in San Fierro, to which we can get via the underground car park. If we fire a rocket at some driver's car and wait until the driver falls out of it, then we'll be able to momentarily drive the car before it ultimately explodes. If we manage to type the Heso Yam cheat code before the car's ultimate explosion, the car will get repaired. However, it will remain charred. Additionally, I verified what would happen if, before the explosion, we drove a wrecked car into the water. It turned out that the explosion hadn't happened, and after teleporting back to land and re-entering the car, I was able to drive it normally, which looks quite absurd. A similar effect can be achieved by respraying such a vehicle. In other tests, it turns out that such a car cannot be stored in a garage. However, we can tune it. We can install nitro, change colors, and even install functioning hydraulics. I bet that many of you are familiar with the glitch, where while flying a jetpack over the military base and getting shot by the rockets enough times, so CJ's health reaches 0. Then, despite the fact that we're technically dead, the sign wasted, and let's say the procedure of dying will not occur until we touch the ground. It's a similar case with the parachute. And there's another bug to do with that, which allows us to still be able to control CJ while having 0 HP. To achieve this, we have to first get into a vehicle, then activate the jetpack cheat code, and then activate the suicide cheat code. Then the health bar will be empty and we'll still be able to control CJ. However, there's one major limitation. We cannot leave our vehicle. As soon as we do, CJ will die. CJ will die even if we type Heso Yam beforehand, the health cheat that is. In such a scenario, CJ will die while having full HP. In terms of getting arrested in that state, while we have an empty health bar, the police will consider us dead and therefore will not attempt to arrest us. This changes completely after activating the health cheat. Then, the police will be able to normally arrest us. Moreover, while being in this zombie state, we cannot start a mission. In turn, starting a mission using a trainer results in the main character's death as soon as the opening cutscene is over. In the case in which our car explodes while being in the zombie state, or if we run out of oxygen after driving into the water, CJ will ordinarily die. While in this state, we're also able to use pay and spray. However, the free aim cheat code or drive-by mode, whichever you prefer, will not work. At the beginning of the game, when the access to the bridges connecting the county of Los Santos with Flint County and Bone County is restricted, including the train bridges, there's a possibility to circumvent the latter. Of course, I'm not saying that accessing the restricted islands is a hard task in general, since we can simply swim there, or use a plane, or even get there by jumping with a fast land vehicle at the right location. However, there's also a way to get to the other islands by a train. I'm sure that you're all aware that when we try to smash a train at the barricade, the game, independently of our will apply brakes to our train a certain distance away from the barricade, which results in the train stopping a few meters away from the bridge. But if we steal a train, back it up as far as possible from the barricade we want to cross. So to show it on an example, we jack a train at the Unity station. We reverse it as far as the game lets us, while making sure that the train doesn't derail. According to my tests, the game allows us to remain on the rails while a train is shaking with the acceleration key pressed down for 14 seconds before the train derails. We wait until the train comes to a complete halt at the barricade, through which the train from the infamous mission Wrong Side of the Tracks phases. Then we accelerate as much as we can, while still ensuring that we don't derail the train, but simultaneously retaining a high speed, until we enter the tunnel after passing by the Unity station. Then we keep the pedal to the metal, because in GTA San Andreas, a train cannot derail while inside a tunnel. It can shake and shake, we can reluctantly keep applying gas, and the vehicle will nonetheless remain on the track for as long as it's in the tunnel. This comes in handy in our case because the bridge we're trying to cross is situated exactly at the end of the tunnel, which makes things easier. Either way, such a procedure, if performed correctly, should lead to a situation where the game is not able to reduce our speed entirely. thanks to which we're able to phase through to the other side. At a certain point, the game deactivates the forced break and we may freely explore the rest of the state. Of course, we won't avoid the 4-star wanted level, but the police, while we're in a hurtling train, can't do us any harm. A similar trick is possible during the San Fierro story section to get to Bone County and Las Venturas. Let me know if you like this format. If so, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, especially if you don't want to miss the future videos. Also, write in the comments which facts were new to you. Meanwhile, I'm saying goodbye, take care, and see you soon.